Hello, everyone. So, Unit 2 review. You are, depending on when you're watching this, you are 2 days away from taking the Unit 2 multiple choice test. So, is this video long? It probably is. Is it important? Absolutely. This video is very, very important. I need you to watch it. I sent an email out Sunday letting you know that this review is now up and that you need to be watching it. Or Monday, I guess. Sunday or Monday, depending on the day. So please make sure you're watching this video. If it's not working in Edpuzzle, go to the other version. I put it up. I made sure to put it up to where you will definitely be able to watch it. So please make sure you watch the entire thing. I know some of this is probably going to get a little boring, but I did. It's 10 questions. I tried to pick a lot of the questions on this test were kind of the same. So I picked things, concepts that are very closely related to those questions. So some of the questions are very similar to the ones you're going to see on the test. Some I wasn't able to find or make questions that were really similar. And so what I did was that I just found the concept that's being talked about and I asked about it in here. So please make sure you are watching this and going through it. So your test is 20 questions, as I said, and it's broken up into 3 different parts. So the first part is a regular story. It's like 2 pages long. Not even, I don't think it's 2 pages. And then there's some questions based on that. It's like the reading section of STAR, where you'll get those questions and a lot of the you'll get the passage, and then a lot of the questions are kind of like based on. You'll see the questions. I'll go over some of those questions. Then you're going to have a poem. I'm actually going to go over TP flat one more time, just so you remember. I highly recommend doing TP flat on the poem because there will be questions. I know there's a question about rhyme scheme. I know there's a question about tone. I know there's a question about theme. So it is very, very important that if you do TP flat, it will greatly help you to answer those questions. And then there's also a revising and editing passage. And if you remember, the revising and editing questions are usually combining sentences or talking about, where should this sentence be inserted in the paragraph? And then some of it's, what changes need to be made, add a comma or spell something in a different way, those kinds of questions. So as I said, there are 20 questions on this test. The review is only 10. A lot of the questions are kind of similar. I know there's like 2 questions over tone, 2 questions over theme, so I just shortened the review to fit those all in. I didn't want to make the review 20 questions long. So hopefully y'all can hear me. Actually, I'm gonna be honest, I'm sitting at my couch right now, so let me actually move over here. And now I got a little brighter. Hopefully y'all can hear me better also. All right, there we go. Let's get started. So question number 1. So you're gonna see a question like this. You're gonna get a line. You're gonna see probably two or three questions like this where you're gonna get a line, not just from a poem, but from a story or something. And you're gonna be asked, what tones are conveyed by this line? So remember, tone is the author's feelings toward their work, or what are they trying to make you feel? So as you read this line, and if you get a question like this where they give you one line, that is the only line you need to pay attention to. You do not need to pay attention to the story or the poem as a whole. You only need to focus on the line or the paragraph that they gave you. So in this case, you're reading just this line. So before y'all actually answer the question, I want y'all to tell me, there are some words in here that y'all know: disgusted, intimate, bitter. Y'all might know what those words mean, but some of them, cynical, resigned, maybe scornful, maybe y'all don't know those words. So y'all tell me really quick, if I don't know some of these words, what do I need to use to find out what they mean? Okay, so you've thought about it or you've answered the question. If your answer is a dictionary or a thesaurus, which it should have been, you are correct. you will be able to get online. Obviously, if you're in my class, I'll probably have dictionaries for you to give to you so you can use them, but you can also look at online on your computers and pull up a dictionary and look up what these words mean. So if you were to look up in the dictionary what these words mean, you would find that the answer to this question, there is no loneliness like this. So the answer to this question is F, mournful and intimate. So if you looked up the definitions to these words, you could find that some of these words do not match this line. You will find that mournful and intimate do match. So make sure if you see words, and this actually another question will come up again, and there are questions where they say, what does this word mean? Or based on the context used in this sentence, what does this word mean? Please use a dictionary or a thesaurus. Those questions are gimmies. Questions like these are gimmies because all you need to do is look up the word, the dictionary, find out the meaning, and you got the answer. So please make sure you're using your dictionary. All right, question number 2. So this is a section from Harry Potter. You're not going to get a section of Harry Potter in your test, but there are 4 different, I guess, paragraphs or sections in here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, on the test, you're going to be asked a question about setting. You're going to get the question, if I can remember correctly, the format of this question is going to be what section from the story tells you, or what quotes show you the setting of the story. So I want you to tell me right now, 1, 2, 3, and 4, I want you to look through them. I want you to tell me which section shows us the setting. So now that you've thought about it and answered the question, if you picked 3, you are correct. So if you look at 3, the narrow path that opens suddenly into the edge of a great black lake, perched atop a high mountain on the other side, its windows sparkling in the starry sky, was a vast castle with many turrets and towers. So now we know the setting is at a castle if you read the book Hogwarts. So make sure when you answer this question, you are finding the setting of the story. And I will tell you, I'll give you a little hint. There are going to be 2 answers that are very, very close because both of them talk about places, but only one question talks about the place that this story is taking place. One of them mentions a place that is talked about at a different time, but it's not where the story is taking place. Make sure you choose the answer of where the story is taking place, where the characters are in the story. All right, number 3. In the box information title, did you know which fact about Robert directly supports the selection's theme? So you might look at this question and be like, obviously I don't have the passage with me. How can we talk about theme? There is a way to answer a question about theme without actually reading the story. I highly advise you to read the story because it'll be easier to answer it, but there is a way. So really quick, I just want you to take a wild guess. Look at the answer choices. Tell me which of these quotes do you think talks about the story's theme? Now, if you answered H, you are correct. H says, he once said, I have done nothing more than the average American boy. Courage is nothing more than doing the best you can in the good old American way. If you remember when we talked about theme is usually, how love is important or friendship is important. If you look at this sentence, it talks about how courage is nothing more than doing the best you can. That's the theme. That's it. It gives you the theme right there. If you look at, honestly, it's process of elimination. If you look at the other answer choices, he was the recipient of the class of 1915 award that doesn't talk about theme. After college, he became a successful lawyer and then died. Nothing about theme. The University of Pennsylvania, he was an intercollegiate wrestling champion. Not about theme. Those are just like facts about this guy. But that one quote, courage is nothing more than doing the best you can. There it is. There's the theme. You will see a lot of questions like this where they give you quotes. They'll be like, which of these quotes best fits theme, or which of these quotes best fits tone, or which of these quotes. So make sure, a lot of those questions, you just have to look at your answer choices. You don't have to go back into the story. You can just use the answer choices. So remember, theme is a lesson or a message in the story, it's usually talking about courage or love or friendship or happiness, some type of subject like that. So make sure when you're looking at your answer choices or reading quotes, make sure that's what it is. I can tell you that one question about theme, you will have to, the answer choices are different things like that. Courage, love, those are the answer choices. So make sure you're reading, I think that's for the poem. So make sure you're reading the poem and you do TP flat, because then you can find the theme like that. And when you get to the answer choices, you're like, oh, there it is. You already have the answer. Question 4, in which quotation does the author use descriptive language to show her unexpected awe? Once again, you know, all you need to do is look at the quotes that are given to you and find the one that shows her unexpected awe. So really quick, read through these answer choices really quick and tell me what you think the answer is. So if you've picked your answer or you've thought about it, if you answered, it's actually been a while since I've seen these questions. Sorry, I actually put this question on here and I completely forgot. Okay, if you picked answer choice H, then you are correct. So if you go through each one, A is I crawled onto my tent, stood slowly, my muscles stiff. Okay, that doesn't show awe. Now, once again, if you don't know what awe means, look it up. Awe means you're like amazed. You're like, wow, look at that. That is what awe is. G, my packed frame creaked behind me with each step. The muscles in my back were tense. Nope, nothing about awe. J, by noon I was up over 6,000 feet, arid, cool, the sun's disappearing. Not awe. H, I knew it was the top because there was snow. Not on the ground, but falling from the sky and thin flakes that swirled in mad patterns pushed by the wind. So she's showing that she sees the snow and she's like, wow, look at this, look at the snow. It's amazing. She's describing it. That is awe. H is the answer. So once again, please make sure you're, like I said, you're going to get a lot of questions like this for your giving quotes. So please make sure you're reading the quotes, analyzing them, you match them with what the question is asking you to do. Question 5. So in paragraph 8, the word exhilarating means something that, what do you need? Your dictionary, your thesaurus. You don't even have to go back to paragraph 8. All you need to do is look in the dictionary for what exhilarating means. So really quick, answer the question. Which of these means exhilarating? Now, if you've answered the question or thought about it, if you look up exhilarating, you're going to see 2 words pop up. You're going to see happiness and you're going to see excitement. F is the answer. Creates happiness and excitement. Everything else doesn't match. Just use the dictionary. That's it. That's all you need. Once again, it's a gimme question. You know, all you need to do is open up a dictionary, type in exhilarating definition in Google. The answer will pop up for sure. Nobody should be getting these kinds of questions wrong. I swear to God, if y'all get these questions wrong, I'm going to find a dictionary, sew it to your hands, and make sure that you carry that dictionary everywhere so you'll always use it. Now I'll do that. All right. So now that all those questions were kind of connected with the first story you're going to read, some of them are connected to the poem. Now we're getting into more poem-based questions. So TP flat, once again, please make sure you're doing this. I cannot give this to you on the test. It's something you do have to memorize. When it comes time to take like STAR and stuff, if you do have a poem, I can't give y'all TP flat. So we just got to go over it a lot of times. But here's a reminder. So title, when you see the title, what comes to mind? Paraphrase. So number the stanzas. Letter the rhyme scheme. If you don't remember to do any of those other things, please make sure you number the rhyme scheme or letter the rhyme scheme. There will be a question asking about rhyme scheme on this test. I saw it. Please make sure you letter the rhyme scheme because that's, once again, that's a gimme. If you already do it and then you get to that question, boom, you have the answer. Figurative language. So just go and find, simile and metaphor. I will tell you, there is a question about figurative language. I'm actually going to go over that figurative language with you because it kind of, I'll explain that later. Attitude and tone. Like I said, there will be a question about tone. So remember, tone is to think. So how does the author feel about his work? What does the author want you to feel? And then mood how does the poem make you feel? And then theme, there will be a question about theme. So the lesson or message the author wants you to learn. Please make sure, try to remember this, and make sure you do it on your test. So what is symbolism? There is a question about symbolism on the test. It asks you, I won't get into the question, but it's going to ask you, what does this thing symbolize? There's going to be an object that appears in the poem, and it'll say, what does this thing symbolize? And it'll give you answer choices. So tell me really quick, what is symbolism, if you can remember? All right, now that you've answered or thought about it, let me go to it. So symbolism it's a device that uses symbols, be they words, people, marks, locations, or abstract ideas that represent something beyond the literal meaning. So I gave some examples. The American flag can symbolize freedom. A dove can symbolize peace. Colors, the color red is usually anger or passion or love. Blue is symbolized as sadness. Yellow is symbolized as happiness. Those are symbols, certain things that represent something else. So like I said, there's going to be something in the poem that you're going to have to figure out, what does it symbolize? It means something a lot more than just its literal meaning. What does it mean? Repetition. There will be a question about repetition on this test. So y'all tell me really quick, what is repetition? All right, now that you've answered it or thought about it, let's go on. Repetition. It involves intentionally using a word or phrase for effect 2 or more times in a speech or written work. For repetition to be noticeable, the words or phrases should be repeated within close proximity of each other. Repeating the same words or phrases in a literary work of poetry or prose can bring clarity to an idea or make it memorable for the reader. So, repetition, if you see a phrase or a word or a line repeated multiple times, the author is more likely doing this, as it says, for clarity. They're saying, hey, please pay attention to this part. This part of the poem's important. If somebody repeats something multiple times, that's because they're telling you it's really important. Why do I always repeat that y'all need to use a dictionary? Because I think it's very important that you do. So that is what repetition is. If somebody repeats something in a poem, they're trying to draw your attention to it. Say, hey, pay attention to this. It's important. All right, question 8. So this is just a poem. What I want you to do is I want you to letter the rhyme scheme. So think to yourself or answer it. What is the rhyme scheme of this poem? All right, now that you've answered or thought about it, let's go through it really quick. So remember, when we're lettering rhyme schemes, you're looking at the ends of the last words in each line. So toes, obviously we start at the beginning of the alphabet. So we start with A. A here, nose rhymes with toes, so that would be AA. Go is different, so that would be B. No rhymes with go, so that would also be B. And now if we keep going, dashing and splashing rhyme, sky and goodbye rhyme, toes and nose again, and sorry, this is blocking it, so and go rhyme. So the rhyme scheme is A, A, B, B. So A, A, because those match, then B, B, because those match and they're different. There's the rhyme scheme. Like I said, there will be a question about this. So please make sure you are lettering the rhyme scheme of the poem you're given so that when you get to that question, it's done. You've done it. You can answer the question very easily. All right. Those were some questions about poems. Now we're getting into the revise and editing. And y'all have done this kind of stuff multiple times. So this is an example of one of the questions you're going to see. So Lisa always cheats on her homework. She asked me to show her my math homework last week. So you're going to see a question that's going to ask which transition can go at the beginning of the second sentence, or how can you connect those two sentences? What transition can connect those two sentences? So at the bottom, I have 4 different transitions. Meanwhile, for example, afterwards, and in conclusion. So I want you to tell me which of those transitions would fit best between each of those sentences. All right, you've answered the question. Hopefully you thought about it. So now, Lisa always cheats on her homework. Meanwhile, she asked me to show my math homework last week. Does that make sense? It doesn't sound like it. Let's move on. Lisa always cheats on her homework. For example, she asked me to show her my math homework last week. Makes sense, I think. Yeah. You know, she talks about cheating on her homework, and now she's giving an example of that. She's saying, oh, last week she did this. Could work. Lisa always cheats on her homework. Afterwards, she asked me to show her my math homework last week. Doesn't really make sense. Lisa always cheats on her homework. In conclusion, she asked me to show her math homework last week. Doesn't really fit. So there we go. For example is the answer. You're going to see a question like this. You're going to be asked which transition fits between these two sentences. So make sure you know what these transitions mean. These aren't the exact transition words you're going to see. You might see one or two of them, but it's going to be different sentences. If you don't know what those transitions mean, what do? Use your dictionary. You're also going to see, if I can remember correctly, you're going to see a question where you're going to have to combine two sentences. So remember, make sure when you're combining those two that your commas are in the right place, that it's not a run-on sentence, that if there's a semicolon in one of those sentences, make sure on either side is a complete, the sentence is a complete sentence. If you are adding a comma, make sure between the sentences, make sure you have a fanboy and, or, but, so, one of those. Just some reminders. You're also, another question you're going to see is going to be, here's a new sentence, Billy wants to add this sentence into paragraph 12. Where should this sentence be added? So make sure, you're plugging that sentence in and seeing where it fits best. Best thing to do would be to read that paragraph, see what it's about, wherever that that sentence fits best, put it there. All right, last one. I love going to school because I get to see all my friends. You're going to see questions like this. What change, if any, needs to be made in this sentence? So you're going to see those questions, and these are a lot of grammar stuff. So you're changing around punctuation, commas, you're adding commas, you're taking out commas, you're changing spelling, all this stuff. So your answer choices here are change the exclamation mark at the end to a question mark, change because to cause, take out the comma, or change friends to friends. So really quickly, I'll give you the opportunity to answer which of these is the change you need to make. All right, feels really weird to pause. So give you some time to answer. So if you chose take out the comma, you are correct. Because is not a fanboy. A fanboy is for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. When you see one of those words, most of the time, you're gonna have a comma in front of it. Because is not a fanboy, so it does not need to have a comma in front of it. Changing the exclamation to a question mark, that wouldn't make sense. Cause is technically not the same as because. This word is actually cause. So like the cause and effect, cause doesn't technically exist. So it's never cause, it's because. I know a lot of times we do say cause, I went to the store cause this, but technically that's not correct. It's like how we use y'all or ain't. We use them all the time, but that doesn't make them actual words. And then change friends to friends. If you look in the dictionary, you'll see that this is the correct way to spell it and this is not the correct way. So you're left with take out the comma. So when you get those questions, make sure you just, plug in everything, make sure everything's right. With these questions, you're going to be asking what change, if any, needs to be made in sentence 5. In that case, you don't really have to go back and read the paragraph that the sentence is in or reread the story. You just have to look at that sentence. So don't freak out. Like, don't be like, oh, I have to reread this paragraph. I don't know what it means. No, just look at that sentence, make those changes, plug in, take out, do whatever you need to do, answer the question. And I think that's it. All right, that is the end of this review. I hope you bared through the time and went through it because like I said, it's very important. So when I see you tomorrow, you will, not tomorrow. If you're cohort 1, you're going to be taking this multiple choice test on Wednesday. If you're in cohort 2, you're going to be taking it on Thursday. So wait, no, wait, that's right. Sorry. So If you need to go through this one more time, feel free to do so. If you want to, if you have any questions or comments about any of this or more about the test, please let me know and I can go over that stuff with you. Just email me and let me know. And I think that's it. So, once again, if you have any questions, please let me know and please make sure you've gone through this review. Tell your friends, if you don't think they've watched the video yet, tell them, hey, so-and-so, watch this video for the test tomorrow. Watch it together. You know, if you want to hang out with your friends, you know, put on the video together, go through it together. I don't care how you watch the video, you know, just watch it. Please watch it. That's it. So have a great night. Have a great day whenever you watch this. Oh, now that you're done with this video, there's going to be a Google form that I need you to fill out. If you look under this video, you're going to see something that says Unit 2 Review Form or Unit 2 Review Google Form, something like that. Press on that, fill it out, and submit that. Please do that. Please, please, please do that. That's going to help me see that if you have any questions, that's the place to ask, really. Or if you need help, or if you don't think you think you might need a little more help before this test, you don't think you're going to do a good job, then I can get with you before then and go through some stuff with you. So please fill out that Google form as soon as you're finished watching this video. All right, now that is it. So have a great day, have a great evening, good afternoon, whenever you watch this. Have a good night, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.